Hello all. In this video we will see how labeled break and labeled continue works in Java. Um, so before we move on to the topic, we will see how break works in a nested loop. Here we have two loop. The outer loop is a for loop and inner loop is the while loop. So inside the while loop we are having a break statement. So this break statement will break out of the while loop. Alright, first we will execute this in Java Eclipse. We will see the result. After that we will explore the labeled break as well as labeled continue. So here is the example. If you see, the outer for loop runs 9 times. So it starts from 1 and it continues till 9. After that the outer loop will quit. That's the normal exit. And if you see the inner while loop, which will run from I equal to 0 through 9. But because of this if statement, it quits when the condition meets true. So the very first time when I equal to 1, we will come here and we will increment x also become 1. We will check 1 less than 1, that will evaluates to false. So we will print 1. After that we will print a blank space in the same line. This is not print line, it's a print. After that, when we are coming to the second time, I evaluates I get assigned to 2. We will enter inside our while loop. Here we will get break when we are iterating for the third time. That means we will print x equal to 1 and x equal to 2. Likewise, it will continue. Let's execute and you will get the idea. So here if you see, the loop iterates, the outer loop iterates for 9 times, then the inner loop while loop breaks out. So that's why very first time we were printing 1, after that 1, 2, after that 1, 2, 3. So it continues like this. Alright. Okay, just now we saw how the break statement works in the nested loop. The same goes to continue as well. So here we saw the break statement breaks out of the inner loop, but how can we break out of the outer loop? In some situation, you may need to break out of the outer loop by placing a break statement in the inner loop. So in such situation, we need to use a labeled break. So labeled break actually useful to break out of any outer loop in a nested loop scenario. Here in the left side picture, you are seeing 3 loops. The rose colored one is the outer loop. After that, inside that we are seeing one more loop and then one more loop inside. So it's a nested loop. There are 3 loops packed inside each other. So before starting the loop, we should actually keep a label. You are seeing the outer label is marked with a label out colon. Then the loop in the middle is marked with a label mid, and the inner loop is with the label in. So inside the inner loop, now we can break out of any loop. So the syntax is we should place a keyword called break, then we should place the label here. In the first statement, if you see, we are making call to break in, so that means it will come out of the inner loop. So here the label in is not necessary, because without that label also, if we place a break statement, it will come out of the loop which we are in. But to come out of any of the outer loops, we need to go with the break and the labeled entry. So here break mid will break out of the middle loop, because the middle loop we are marking with the labeled entry mid. Similarly, break out will come out of the outer loop. The arrow mark there shows, say for example, let us consider the middle one, break mid, that will break out of the middle loop. That means we will still continue with the loop marked with OUT out. Alright, let us see this with an example. Yeah. So if you see here in this example, it's the same loop which we saw previously. This time we marked this outer for loop with a label called outer underscore for. And if you see inside, we are breaking out of the for loop. Here we are checking if I equal to 6, break, then we are placing a label called outer for. So what happens now, this break will come out of the for loop. So the normal exit for the outer for loop is 1 through 9. That means it will run for 9 times. Since here we're placing a keyword I equal to 6, so it will run for 5 times completely. The 6th time it will break out and it won't print the X as it won't print the console window output, which is part of the while loop. There are 2 console window output statement in the while loop. It won't print that. Also, it won't print the new line character in the for loop portion. That means it will completely come out of the loop. So previously we saw a pyramid that continues from 1 to 9, but at this time the pyramid will get broken because of this break statement. So in this example, you are seeing a 2 break. The first break will break out of the inner loop. The second break, since we want to come out of the for loop, we called it with a labeled statement. So break outer underscore for. That means here we are asking come out of the for loop. Okay, let us execute this in Java and see how it works. Okay, here is the example. So in this example, it's just whatever you saw previously. Here I added outer for. This is the label. That means we are marking this for loop with a label. After that, when I equal to 6, we are breaking out of the outer loop. So here we are saying outer for, break outer for. That means break out of this loop, the outer loop. So you can use a number of nesting, and we can come out of any outer loop. Yes. So we saw that in the picture previously. There we have a 3 loop scenario. So it can be a number of nesting, and you can come out of any loop when certain condition meet. Okay, we'll execute this and see what's the output. So if you see here, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is because of this break, and it doesn't continue till 9. It stopped at 5th iteration. That is because of they labeled the break. So labeled continue works the same way how the labeled break works. Here we should place a keyword continue, then the same way we can specify the label. So that tells how we want to continue. Here in this case, when I modulus 2 equal to 0, we are continuing with the loop. That means we are continuing with the for loop. Right. So here we are skipping the even numbers and we are building that triangle shaped number system. All right, let's execute this and see. So much explanation is not required on this labeled continue, since it works the same way how labeled break works. Okay, this time we replace the break with the keyword continue, and if we execute this, you will see it skips the even numbered outer loop. So it runs one time the inner loop, then it runs for 3 times, then 5th time, and 6th time, and 9th. That means we are skipping the even number loop of for. That means once we see that outer loop counter is an even number, we won't execute the remaining 2 statement, and we will continue with the for. We will continue with the outer loop. That means we are actually breaking out of while. Since we are continuing with the for, we are breaking out of while, even though it's a continuous statement, and we will move with the next iteration. All right, that's all with the labeled break and labeled continue. To summarize, break will break out of the loop, skipping the remaining statement in the in current iteration. Continue won't break out of the loop, but it will skip the remaining statement and continues with the second iteration. When there are nested loop, and if you want to break or continue with the outer loop, break out of the outer loop or continue with the outer loop, then we should go with the labeled break and labeled continue. Hope you liked this video. There are more to come. To get the update, click the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. Bye.